Assalamu alaikum. Joining me is Haroon Khan, the trustee for the Jamia Masjid Vancouver, as well as the president of the Pakistan Canada Association. Haroon's family is one of the pioneers of the BC Muslims. Haroon, tell me about the history of the BC Muslims.
The history of the Islamic community in BC goes back quite a long time, really well over 100 years. We've had people from all corners of the globe converge on this place. Vancouver is known for its natural resources, its lumber, its oceans, its waters, and so forth. And so it's a port city. While this is the physical manifestation of our community, this place of Vancouver has been utilized by the Muslim community, and you can pray in nature, and people do. And my family arrived in British Columbia, in Vancouver Harbor, well over 100 years ago, around 1908, amongst a number of other families that also came here. And my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my grandfather's brother were here for a good 20, 25 years in Vancouver, in Seattle, in Olympia, Washington, in San Francisco, and various parts of California. And they worked in logging, they worked in farming, they worked in a number of areas related to agriculture, and it was a good life here. But the Depression hit, and after some real debate, the idea was to go back. My grandfather was getting a bit older. They wanted to get him married, and the pull to go back to India was very strong. So in 1932, they went back, and they were known as Lakwale, which is that they had a lot of money, and bringing it back to India, they were able to get more land, more things, and they resettled back to India. But the one thing that they never ever forgot was this place, was Vancouver. They never forgot the beauty of it, the vibrancy of it. And my father, who was born a year after my grandfather came back, my father was born in 1933, Riyasat Ali Khan. And my dad, he grew up listening to stories about Vancouver, and he always felt that this was the place that he wanted to come to. And 1947 rolled along, and there was a very painful separation where India and Pakistan separated and became the two countries that they are today. And we migrated to the Pakistan side to a place called Haroonabad, which is where my own name comes from. And my father graduated in the late 50s from Lahore University, and he wanted to see what this place was firsthand. And I'll tell you a bit of a funny story. My grandfather sent a telegram to a friend of his in San Francisco to come and receive my son. He's coming, and so my father came with a suitcase and a bit of money in his pocket, and arrived at the San Francisco airport, and no ride. No one was there to receive him. So he made his way to the address, and there on the front door of that building was that very telegram that my grandfather had sent from India to his friend, and the building was condemned. And so my father had to sort of find his way. But literally within hours of him arriving, he found who he was supposed to meet, and he spent some time in California. But really the pull was to come to Vancouver, which he did. And he arrived, and he set up, and my father was very industrious. He worked very hard, and he also was on the lookout for people from our place, from India, from Pakistan, and as a Muslim, to see where are all the other Muslims, where can you pray, where can you do this, where can you do that. And the big answer was that there were people of faith, and people would pray in their living rooms. They would have the origins of our community were in the living rooms of various households where people congregated. And our community started to establish itself. It started to coalesce with really a sense that things had to happen on behalf of the community, and they were not very pleasant things that happened. They had to deal with brothers who passed away, and they had to conduct the burial rites. There was no imam. And these were young men who basically had to do the ghusl and do the burial while reading a book, and sort of, how to do it. And literally in real time, they would have to do these things. So this small handful of people, they felt very keenly. They had a fikr. They had a worry for their community, and at the same time, my father was very active in politics as a young man, and he was a very big proponent for the country of Pakistan. So there were a handful at that time of Pakistanis, and they gathered them and they formed a society under the Societies Act and the Pakistan-Canada Association, which over the last couple of years I'm honored to be president of. And from those very beginnings, the opportunity came to purchase an old church, and this church was available. And at that time, a group of people were set to go and sign for it. But on the appointed day, the only person that showed up to sign the papers and to sign the mortgage was my father. And he took that responsibility, and with that stroke of a pen, this place became a reality. And it's a testament to not only his work, but the work of all the various people in the community, that this place has survived and thrived, and through the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a place where people pray 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And that's what makes this place a very special place. And for me, it's like home. Whenever I'm here, I feel at home. And this is a spiritual home for Vancouver's Muslim community. And I hope that when you have a chance to come here, you'll feel a bit of it. You'll feel that, and it draws you here. And it's very special. And I sincerely hope that you have an opportunity to put your forehead to the floor here and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah give guidance to us all, and give mercy to us all. So in the early 60s, this place was formed, and again, it was an old church. And it was in a lot of ways, a lot of people spent their early days in Canada here. A lot of people, their lives in Canada started in this place. And in early 1965, there was also concern that we have a greater association for the Muslim community. And in 1965, the BC Muslim Association was established from here. And this masjid has maintained its management through the original organization that was formed in 1963. But we've supported the BC Muslim Association since its inception, and since the establishment, and we've raised the funds and worked hand in hand with all of our community members in establishing masjids all over the lower mainland of BC. And we're mutually very proud to be associated with one another as brothers and sisters of faith, doing our duty. And our community has a diversity, but that diversity is really felt by the unity that our community has with one another, and we're very blessed to have that.
Brother Haroon, thank you so much for that history of the BC Muslims. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, my brother Adnan, and thanks to all of you who've had a chance to view this. Jazakallah khair.